All right, we're going live on a recording here. We are playing some Ignition. We're playing 1-2, 1-2 zone for the first time. I want to record basically just for this to sort of see the flow of zone. So here we go. This is basically the first time in zone right over here, table number 3, bottom left. I've been playing spent March basically grinding up a small deposit into a shot take for 1-2. It's curious, this guy's bet twice now as a short stacker. I don't know. It's basically, I don't know what his value is there. I kind of wanted to call that potentially just because it's just a strange bet. But that's one of the things we have to get used to about zone is it's moving very quick. Check back our flush draw, our very low flush draw. We'll call that ace high could be the best hand. We'll barrel now. And ace 8 is not good enough to showdown. We'll fold our king there. We'll fold 4-2. Something that you're going to notice about this video is that I am a lot more interested in playing like a polarization strategy instead of like a range strategy. So there's going to be a bit more checking and setting up for bets later. Fold that in small blind. That guy's stack. He's a fish, but is not deep enough. Against a checkman raise pot turn, I think this guy's probably pretty strong. And obviously I just have 3 high, so that's a fold. I didn't connect. And with the king 8, top 2 in my hand, just because I dominate so much of the board and he's short, I'm going to give a free card there. Just to see what happens. I can easily bet the turn and still get all the money in. So I'll do that now. Why can I not buy more chips here? That's kind of confusing. Under the gun open, I mean, the loose call here. That is strange. I can't buy chips. You could easily be overbetting this, even though he has a range advantage. Just going to call here, peel 1, and see where it goes. Probably ahead here now with the 6s, so I'm not going to deny equity. 10's not good in case he has a hand like ace 10 or king queen, but I have a lot of showdown against ace queens, ace kings. I'm very confused why it's not letting me top up here at the 1-2 zone. Maybe that's some sort of like weird sign that I shouldn't be playing right now, but I should easily be able to top up, and I can't. We'll defend king 9. I'm just going to try to small protection bet with my king high. I mean, I have some showdown value realistically. It's kind of weird, though, that he didn't bet a good board that's good for him. I'm going to check now. Kind of ruining my ability to polarize and say I have an ace by checking back that turn, but also just kind of confusing what he may have here. can't really do much about my hand from this point. I was basically just making a play that if he doesn't see bet, maybe he's just giving up. So check fold there. It's very confusing why I can't top up. So with the polarization strategy, I mean, this is a clear range bet. This is easy, but I'm going to check back here. Ace queen is a normal 3-bet squeeze. Now I can bet my top pair, good kicker. Ace 10 here is not a great float against this guy who doesn't open that often. I mean, I'll still do it once, but it's just not a great float. My ace may be dirty, and the jack is just kind of thin. I'm drawn to that. But he could just be betting the board. We have some ace high showdown, so we'll just keep check there. And here with the king jack, we win that hand, but we wouldn't have bet again. All right, so I'm going to leave that real quick. I'm going to try to get into something with zone with a table that allows me to reload. So here I 3-bet squeezed, and on a board like this with no back doors and obvious kind of draws, I'm just going to check. Ace 8 is not a good defend against under the gun. Here my ace 10 was good. I'll open king 9, hand history. That guy also had an ace, but my 10 played, basically. He had ace 9. King 9's a fold to a 3-bet. And ace queen, I'm not going to defend here without any back doors. Ace 8 I won't open. Five, 6, I'm not going to play against an under the gun who opens up. That's 7% PFR under the gun. So his range is really good there. And I'm just kind of in between. King 2 is a fold from the small blind. Queen 10 is going to be an open. 2-5 is a fold. Kind of tempted to 3-bet that, but I won't. I'll play more conservative. This is my first time around in Zoom. I'm not entirely sure how the pool plays. My experience with Ignition so far has been it's overly aggressive in a lot of sort of like frequencies and lines. And like King 4, perhaps it over defends, and I'd be looking more for folds there against instead of someone who over defends. So I'm not going to open King 5. We're just way too deep. 3s, I guess I give him some equity by checking here. I'm not too worried about that. I can check call. You know, he's not betting a lot better for value. Just the thing is I let him realize a lot of equity by checking. And I'm going to fold 7-3, not defend it. Against a small third pot, I have to defend naturally. 5 is good and bad. I don't think it's really one that changes anything for me in terms of gives me the ability to dunk. I don't have a lot of 7-6s. This guy probably has more 7-6s, so I'll just keep check calling. I unblock basically all his possible bluffs that are higher. And now I turned a larger draw. It's kind of weird. It's not really a protection bet with an 8 for that size. I don't know. He's kind of almost feels like an ace 4 or something like that. But we'll check call given the equity. Queen. The club is not great. The queen's probably just fine. Here's the thing. He should probably bluff again after me check calling twice. So I kind of maybe look like I just have a weak ace high. So he should bet and value bet again. The question is, what bluffs does he have after clubs gets there? And he's bet small twice. I mean, his small pairs should just try to show down here at this point. But now he's going larger. So he's saying basically that he just has a flush draw, and I think he has enough combinations out there to credibly rep that, given, yeah, both the 8 and 5 weren't blocking clubs, so he could have like a pair and a flush draw and be kind of betting. I'm just going to fold there. Fold to king 3. I'm not going to defend ace 4 here against the person with this stack size, so that's a fold. And I won't c-bet 5s there, 3-way. I will defend 4-2 there against a small size. And I'll fold 5s. And 4-2 here, if there was a club on board, I would call, but not without any clubs. Just drawing to a weird gut shot. H6, I'm not going to defend against these sizings. I will bluff this here with 6-8. With the jacks, I'm just going to check. And with jacks now on that particular turn, I'm just trying to reach showdown cheaply. And pretty bad run out for me, but I'll just check again and just hope to show down and win. I will open up 10-8 and king 6 here is just a check. We'll bet a little bit smaller here, hoping that he has some draws I can call, and it gives us the option to kind of check back on the river. Obviously, we're just playing top pair board kicker. We'll pass on isolating ace 9. Not a good board to barrel king queen. We'll check. It's a bit questionable. I mean, maybe I should start barreling that turn because I don't have showdown against ace high, but also I do have king high showdown, so it gets close in that spot. This 9-7's a little questionable. I'm actually just going to fold it. And this is a little questionable too, but I'm going to try that polarization strategy. So I'm going to overbet my top pair top kicker. It gets a little bit weird when it comes down to queens and everything like that. It's a pretty brutal turn for basically, I don't feel too bad, but definitely one of his floats is 7-6. At this point, he probably has weaker queens. It's weird for him to check a nutty hand quicker than that twice. So I'm just going to assume he has a worse queen and just value bet's kind of small there, like a get paid value bet. So maybe I could bet a little bit more value there on the river. It turns out he had queen 9, which is pretty obvious given by the speed of his checks that he was just looking to show down at that spot. And here I'll fold king queen or king jack on the queen queen board. And threes against, the sizing is so small. So small. If I had a randomizer, I'd probably randomize this because I don't need to do this all the time, but I'll just call here to see what happens. And I'll defend the big blind right here with king 4. And so we can check our threes. We'll open jack 8. We'll check our top and bottom, the king 4. Not the best of turns, but we'll fire out. Now the 3 is a great turn, obviously. Question is, how much do we go for? I think we can only get away with like a half pot here. Or, wow, it still gave me a pot bet. I timed out. I should have bet my king 4 again. Curious spot, though, if I should even bother doing something like a check raise. Maybe that's a little too thin. I don't think he would slow play a hand like ace-jack that quickly on the turn. Am I worried about a hand? I just got to call so quickly. Darn, that's kind of boogers. I mean, he's repping so thin here with his turn raise. He's really only repping 8s and jacks. And it's just so huge. But, if he wants to get in worse, I have to oblige him. King high, I have enough showdown here on queen, queen, jack. Not a great board for me anyway, given that he could just have a ton of random queen X. I don't think I'm going to float out of position there. So I'll just fold that. And we'll defend 8-6 here. This is a pretty large size. I'm not actually that optimistic about calling it, but it's ignition. And you never know. We won't defend this any further. 8-6 is pretty crap on this board now. 10 just, is not a good card for us. Can't defend king 10. Can't defend queen jack. We'll defend 9-6 and isolate with king jack. And 9-6 is a fold now. Both spots are a little curious. I could bet both for sure, but just playing kind of more of like that mixed polarization strategy. I'm going to let other people kind of do some things just because we're so much deeper here. I'm going to raise my king jack, and now I'll bet my 9-5 with a pair. I feel a lot better about it. I have pair. No matter what, I think that king jack we have to raise against the donk there. Even if it makes our hand kind of obvious, I guess there's some pretty strong hands there. It still doesn't mean that he doesn't have like a bet call range. And not that we're worried on him drawing out. It's just that, you know, we're deeper and trying to get more money in against weaker ranges that could potentially call. Good lord, zone is so much better than regular tables. I played like 30 hands of zone, and I'm still haven't even been dealt in to table number 4 after getting coolered. And we'll defend 5-4. Queen jack and king jack are both opens. We'll see what happens with 5-5 in the small blind. Not the best who defends, but I'll call 5s there. And king jack, I'm just going to check back. And against a larger bet here, I will just defend. And I'm going to try to steal here now with my queen jack, putting pressure on ace highs. 5s, I will check. And I don't know how much of a value bet I have with the jack. I'm actually just going to check. And I'll fold pocket 5s there to the small range bet. Unfortunately, that hand just doesn't play well later on. So against a small squeeze here, I'm going to actually raise kind of large. And I've now played 100 hands on zone, and I haven't even been dealt in on table 4 yet. Just kind of crazy. I gotta get ready to the level of being at zone for tabling. And oh, 3-2. I just am not going to do against an under the gun range. An ace-7. I'm going to fold that too. And we'll 3-bet our ace-queen against a min raise. We'll not isolate ace-8. Ace-queen. Interesting spot. He doesn't have a lot of jacks or nines. What are the hands that like check fold a lot though? Hands like 8-7. I don't know if he does that to what would have been like a range bet there. I don't know if I'm going to peel here. I think I'm actually just going to check fold. But I'll call it in 6-4, assuming it's going to go 3-way with some fish. 9-7 is not. A little bit outside of opening range, a gapper there under the gun. King 6 is so loose here, but for the min raise, we'll defend. Half pot's a weird bet. My kicker's not really great, but it unblocks a lot of crap. Here, geez, what am I going to do? I guess I'll go for the check raise now. 2 half pots. Try to get away with one here, Queen Jack, and 9-7. I don't really want to add 5-4 in here to a defend, so I'm just going to fold. I'm just going to keep plugging away here until people come back at this table, just opening a lot of my small blinds. Looks like this table will probably change. 8-7 here, I am just going to defend. I'm not going to 3-bet. I'm going to try a cheap bluff here and then maybe a more expensive bluff on the turn with 8-7 or on the river. He probably has to get 2 barrels. He has a hand like 8 or like an ace high a lot. So I'm trying to figure out what to get value here. I don't think he has king queen a ton. He could have a lot better hands in terms of a slow play. That's just not going to be super likely. I'm going to check back here with that particular hand, and now I'll start playing a bit more aggressively. So with 8-7, where I hit the gut shot, he floated me with threes and called a turn river lead with an underpair. Five-handed, I'll open twos. 9-7 off, I'll open that. We'll see what happens here with this new big blind. Maybe he's tight, maybe he's not. I can check that. I'm gonna just let him realize equity with against my twos. And with queens, I will check back. And I'll let him do his thing. Diamonds aren't a great run out. I wish I had kind of one of them as a blocker. It's curious, what is he betting? I don't really beat much here because flushes and 7-6 got in there. You could have a lot of kings. I'm just going to fold there, not bluff catch. It's not great. I'm going to call here with bottom pair. Ooh, what am I going to do here, though? So I'll squeeze with my jacks and with tens. What is he betting for value here? It's usually just a hand like jacks plus, which he could have a good amount of. My hand has a lot of showdown value and now redraw equity. And I think I have to give up with my bottom pair there. I'm not super in love with it, but I'm going to try a little bit of an overbet here. Just apply a lot of a pressure. I'm not sure if King Jack 6 in small blind versus big blind formation, how much of an overbet frequency there is, and how much of that contains like naked flush redraws, but it seemed reasonable enough to go for it there, given that I should have some sort of range domination in that formation. Man, I'm just making some kind of like depolarized peels here with Queen Jack and Queen 8 going multi-way. And 6-5, my ability to bluff kind of got ruined on the ace on the river, so I'm just going to check and give up. And with a kind of potentially best hand, weird redraw, Jack Queen, I'm going to check call on. My hand should look really, at least kind of decent after check calling multi-way, so we'll see. But him barreling twice now, once flop and turn. For strong sizes, or block one of his best bluffs, Queen Jack. So I'm just going to check fold that. We'll 3-bet King Queen. Twos we overlimped against a really bad player. King Queen is interesting. My hand can't really improve. Top pair, top kicker. He shouldn't really be betting into me. Maybe he's trying to draw cheaply. He's betting third pot, trying to gauge my range. A blank is, amazing there. The 2 doesn't help him in case he was donking for cheap equity. I mean, how good is this guy's hand? Ace King is weird. Does he have King 10 or pocket 10s? I don't know what else to do here other than check call. The worst hand that he could have, or the best hand now, is a hand like Ace Jack of Hearts. That is a huge bummer. I don't really beat a lot now, and I have top pair, good kicker. 10-8 got there, Queen Jack got there. This is really unfortunate fold. The Jack seems really bad to me. Maybe I misplayed that hand. There's potentially some option to raise there on the turn. Well, 3-bet 9-7. It's weird. Slider doesn't seem to be working well. So 7-6, yeah, we'll just defend here. And we'll open the aces. Seven, 6, not great, particularly without some sort of backdoor hearts, but we have backdoor straight. He has a lot of hands like Ace Jack, Ace Queen here. So the king pairing is kind of good, discounts him a little bit. It's curious, am I going to give him a free card? I don't think I can really bluff off a hand like 10-10 or Jack-Jack here, so I'm really just hoping to kind of beat a hand like Ace-Queen, Ace-Jack here, or bluff catch against it, which he shouldn't really do. So I'm hoping to beat Ace-Queen here, or Queen-10. All right, that's kind of wild. With aces, I mean, this is a polarization hand where I should be betting more, but this guy's stack is really small, so I'm going to give him a chance to just put his money in bad. And now we'll just raise all in. Kind of curious, this guy checks here. I'm going to bet here. I think he's just going to check fold. I don't want to, there's so many just even wetter turn cards, so if he's already worried about the board, the turn is only going to get worse for him. So we're going to just fire a bet there. We're going to fire a bet here with the 5. I mean, our hand potentially could just chop on the river and not show down. So might as well just bet there. four-handed with fives, you can't bet. And against a cold four bet, we will just pitch. Ace nine here out of position is just a check. We have top pair, top kicker, but the board is highly dynamic. Curious. We're going to bet here to get value and protect. And king, queen, we're just going to fold. Some four bet, cold four bet, bluff potential there. Jeez. All right, with ace 10 here, I'm just going to fold just because the action so far is kind of intense. I don't really want to turn my hand into a cold 4-bet bluff given positions, and I just don't want to call there. And eights, I won't cold 4-bet. All right, I may stop recording very soon just because we're approaching 45 minutes and it doesn't seem like there's been a ton of interesting hands. So that hand was super curious. I had eights. On table 2, there was a person with ace king who turned top pair, top kicker, and the small blind had pocket fives, and he obviously flopped a set. So yeah, given not a lot of action, we'll just see what happens here. We're just going to call this a video, maybe record a different one after this, just keep the session going. Feeling good about everything, but just not very exciting. 10-5 is a little too disconnected to continue for backdoor floats. So yeah, as you can see, polarization versus range betting is a lot different. 10-5-2 is probably like a clear range bet. I passed on that opportunity, and now we'll see if we can get away with one here on the turn. That is a lot better for me. Nine eight, we'll save our bluff here for the river. Very curious. Is it a bluff or value bet? It's more of a block bet, I guess. All right, that's it for this video.